it's a pivotal night tonight to see who's playing who. Can't wait.
Bring it on. Belated birthday. Happy birthday for yesterday.
Yes,
great. Still looking great at 21, of course.
21 again.
But we do, when this competition comes up, we saw NPL clubs at the semi-final stage last year as well. We saw some debutants, some cracking goals. These are moments that end up etching themselves into football history.
I love this competition for exactly that reason. There's a real joy and romance about some of the best teams in the country coming up against some of the smaller NPL teams. The players, the clubs, getting their opportunity and their time in the spotlight. It's really special.
I'm in the mood for romance. I don't know if our next guest is.
Sure, there's a song in that.
I don't know. There could be. James Johnson, the CEO of Football Federation Australia, joins us. Great to see you, James. It's the 10th year, I can't believe it, of the Australia Cup. We adore this competition. We're waxing lyrical about it. And it's just growing year upon year upon year.
It is, Tara. And the 2023 year is a great year for Australian football. Arguably the most important year of our 142-year history of the game. And this edition of the Australia Cup is going to be exciting. It's the biggest cup in terms of clubs that are participating that we've ever had. 775 clubs started this competition. And to put that into perspective, the English FA Cup this year had 732 clubs. Right, so this is a really tremendous achievement for this competition. It all comes down to 31 games, 32 teams, 10 A-League teams, 20 NPL and 2 non-NPL. So it's going to be a great edition of the Australia Cup in 2023.
James, and you mentioned there it's a big month of football, the Women's World Cup fast approaching, but it's meant that you've had to wrangle a bit of the fixtures for the Australia Cup.
Yeah, look, we see this as an opportunity. So we've got the biggest sporting event since the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games that are coming to our shores. So what better way for this competition than to leverage the Women's World Cup? In the back end of the Women's World Cup, we do have rest days. And what we've done is the round of 32 will all be played from the 4th to the 14th of August. And that means that we'll be able to showcase this great competition to sports even outside of Australian football, but also showcase this competition to the rest of the world, because the rest of the world will be watching Australian football at this time.
Hopefully plenty of magic moments in this edition of 2023. James, what's your particular favourite so far?
Look, there are so many great moments in the Australia Cup. I remember Mango Man in the 2021 edition. I remember many cup upsets. But for me, it was Melbourne Victory winning the 2021 edition. And the reason why that's so special is it was the year that we allocated an Asian Football Confederation slot to the Australia Cup. And that was done to bring Australia closer to the Asian football community. But it was also done to incentivise clubs to really take this competition seriously. And that was a year that Melbourne Victory ended up bottom of the A-League table, yet they spent so much time and effort trying to compete in this competition. So for me, that was really delightful to see the strategy come to life.
But also we'll loop back and we'll say that Mango Man was still your favourite.
Is that anything to do with your Queensland origins?
It absolutely was.
Queenslander.
Mango Man during the day, footballer by night.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you so much for your company. We're looking forward to such a busy end of July and August of football right here on our doorstep as well. Well, let's take a look back at some of the magical moments that were dished up across last year's edition of the Australia Cup.
Loads of a long shot. Oh my goodness! Jake Brimmer, take a bow. Ibasuki, spectacular. Roberts, again, it's clever play. Shapiro! Oh, what a goal! Here's the long range effort, and it's a beauty. Nikola Miliustic. What a strike.
Has a goal. Oh, what a goal! Gianluca Iannucci.
Oh, was gassed! Oh, what a goal!
There is something very special about those cup nights, as we've just seen. And Andy Harper, it's not just about the food that's on offer.
Exactly.
We have been attending them. We've been hanging off whatever is made to call the games for 10 years. And I tell you what keeps you through when it's about 3 degrees.
Yes.
The food, Andy Harper.
Indeed. The souvlaki, the whatever, chavapi.
So good.
On the field, Tara, and there's plenty of them. We've just seen some great goals from last year, but one goes better than Sydney United's run to the final last year, which James mentioned in passing. That was achieved on merit. You know, in the first days of the Cup, the draw was weighted to make sure a second-tier or below club could actually stay alive for public interest's sake. Well, they turned it into a complete random draw, and Sydney United made the final honour merit with that unforgettable match against Brisbane. That brought back a whole pile of wonderful memories of that ground full and buzzing. But in my humble opinion, and only according to me, it gets pipped by Devonport Strikers when they won that match in the driving rain, 1-0 against the Lambton Jaffers. Devonport will be in the draw tonight. We'll see how that goes. That was a magic night at Valley Road and immortalised by the late Mike Cockrell's live cross on television at the time, fighting off the nails of rain as they were driving into his face. It was just a fantastic night, which quintessentially sums up, to me, this competition.
It absolutely does. I went through a fair few jackets in the early days of when it was the FFA Cup, those nights, and hanging off the rafters, but some fantastic nights. We absolutely loved them, and one man that was part of the most winningest Australia Cup side, Michael Jakobsen, he joins us this evening. It's so great to see you. Thank you for your company. Adelaide United, you used to play for them, man. They won 3 times. It was so incredible. Some good memories then of playing in this cup competition for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it's been some great experiences. A couple with United and one with Melbourne City. So it's it's a great competition. I love to watch it.
Post your A-League playing career, Michael, you've stayed at Adelaide and continued playing in the NPL. What is it about the city that has been so attractive to you and your family to make it your base from here?
Since day one, when we came to Australia, we loved it. Particularly when we came to Adelaide, it was like home. It felt like being back home in Denmark with friends and people we call our family now. So we're very happy to stay here.
Yeah, Adelaide's a good spot. Unfortunately, though, Adelaide Olympic, your side just got pipped from making the round of 32. Next year?
Maybe. Hopefully. It's hard competition. There's some really good teams in the NPL. So it will be stiff competition.
Yeah, it's a great competition though. Well, let's take a look at the 32 teams, 30 so far that have qualified for the Australia Cup. Of course, you've got 4 A-League men's teams yet to play off, that being Jets, Victory, Macarthur and Perth. Nearly missed Perth. I'm from Perth.
I know, how dare you?
The family will be a little bit upset about that one. Hope they're not watching. All right, so looking at New South Wales and Northern New South Wales, who of course is its own member federation. There are 4 clubs up your Leichhardt, Inter Lions, who make their debut, Mount Druitt and Sydney United, Broadmeadow Magic from Northern New South Wales, the Edgeworth Eagles, of course, flying the flag for that was Daniel McBreen very proudly, and the 3 A-League teams are the Central Coast Mariners, the reigning champions, Sydney FC and the Western Sydney Wanderers. When I say reigning champions, I mean the reigning A-League men's champions. From Victoria, there are 5 NPL sides that are represented. The Golden Valley Suns, who make their debut from NPL 3, Heidelberg United, Melbourne Knights, the NPL 2 side and Northcote City, Oakley Cannons as well, and representing from the A-League men's competition, Melbourne City and Western United. To Queensland, the Northern Territory and the ACT right now. Gold Coast Knights, who sit top of the NPL Queensland table right now. You've got Lions FC, who are an NPL powerhouse, Moreton Bay United and Peninsula Power, and Brisbane Roar, the A-League men's side. Hellenic Athletic returned to the comp for the first time since 2018, representing our nation's capital and great skill, of course. The reigning league champions in Canberra, Croatia, have booked their spot. And finally, from South Australia, Western Australia, Tasmania and New Zealand, you've got the most successful cup team there in Adelaide United. Michael Jakobsen knows all about that. Campbelltown City, Metro Stars. From WA, Florida Athena, who make their 4th appearance. They join the debutants, Inglewood United. The Devonport Strikers, who we just heard about from Tassie. And of course, the Wellington Phoenix are our New Zealand side. So this evening as well, the way it will work is that a ball will be drawn from the pot. Michael Jakobsen has that role, and there'll be a number on every ball, and every team has been assigned a number. So pretty much what will happen is Michael will draw the ball out, it'll have a number, and there'll be a correlating team that it will match to. As you can see, all of the teams there. 3 debutants in the mix as well tonight. So really exciting as we talk about the growth of this competition. More teams than ever before have qualified to take part from the beginning, as it is in its 10th year. Let's take a look at the principles of the draw right now. Just a bit of a refresher for you at home. Of course, there's some great stories awaiting to be written. Each team is placed in the pot. The home club is determined as follows. For member federation v member federation, the first ball drawn is the home club. If it involves a member fed side v an Isuzu Ute A-League side, the member federation is the home club. That is, except the Knicks. If they are drawn first, they will always be the away side. And if it's an all A-Leagues clash, the first ball drawn is the home club. Clear? Clear as mud, they say. And silence is here. Well, it's the moment we've been waiting for. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you.
Take it away. Magic fingers, warm them up. Let's go. So we'll do number 24. So this is Peninsula Power from Queensland, who make their 4th appearance in the Australia Cup draw. Okay. Peninsula Power in Queensland will host the Knicks, the Wellington Phoenix, who were the 2021 semi-finalists. They ended up losing to Melbourne Victory. For our match number 2 in the 10th edition of the Australia Cup draw. Western United, the 2022 A-League champions. So they'll be the away team, unless they draw an A-League men's team.
Well done, Tara.
Let's not pick too early there. Me looking for a cup set already. I'm like, they're the away team. 29, I can see that. Edgeworth Eagles. So it'll be Edgeworth Eagles.
At home.
Northern New South Wales. Daniel Breen will be calling, or he might just sub himself on.
And this is one of the great symmetries in modern Australian football. One of the newest clubs,
Yes.
Western United, against the oldest club
Great.
in this year's Cup competition, Edgeworth Eagles, founded in 1892 in an area that was known as Young Wallsend, Grace.
There you go,
Wallsend, another
Huff.
famous part of Newcastle. So there you go. The Eagles of 1892, flying high, literally, in the NPL in Northern New South Wales, taking on Western United.
Bring it on. Good night. Go for it. For our 3rd Australia Cup match. Sorry, I obviously need my glasses because I am short-sighted.
Broadmeadow Magic.
Broadmeadow Magic. Okay, and Broadmeadow Magic will meet Michael. Number 12, Sydney United. Wow, that's huge, isn't it, as well? Northern New South Wales clash with Broadmeadow Magic. That game, a home game for them against, of course, last year's runners-up.
Yeah, and in that part of the world, Broadmeadow Magic are one of the really strong clubs across all age groups. They're in the top couple of clubs every year, fighting for silverware. And that'll be a big night at Magic Park, a big night. They'll get a big crowd. I reckon there'll be a few Sydney United supporters travel up for that one too. Look forward to it.
Bring it on, Michael. Match number 4. So 31. So 31 will be either Melbourne Victory or the Newcastle Jets. They play off on Tuesday, the 18th of July, over in Darwin. Of course, the bottom 4 A-League men's clubs had to play off to book their spot into the round of 32, and they'll play. Well, this is an all A-League men's clash, isn't it? So they will play Brisbane Roar. So match 4 will be either Victory or the Jets v Brisbane Roar. Brisbane Roar had a great run last year, didn't they, in the semi-finals? That was a great... I want to say... Sorry, the first thing that's coming to my head is the fact that you didn't make my halftime cross-halves.
Exactly.
Because you got stuck behind the door.
Exactly. So that was one of the great memories of being at a packed Adensa Park last year, finding the place completely
Where's
unnavigable.
Huss?
Where is he? You thought I was asleep at the wheel. I wasn't. I was
It's
just
wonderful. You're like, I got stuck behind the door.
I was restrained. First hit out, Grace, for new Jets coach Robbie Stanton.
Of course,
Of course, a
yeah.
lot of
And of
Jets
that-
fans waiting to see. Yeah.
Ross Aloisi as well. Up with
Of
Roar,
course, what a
so-
great pickup, yeah. So Ross back in the saddle and Robbie Stanton with his first senior coaching job
Bring it on.
out of Sydney FC, so that's a big night for both. And of course, many people hoping for a Victory rejuvenation again. The second time in
think
3
so.
years they've need to find a shot of the rejuvenation juice.
I think I want one now. To be honest with you, Michael, for our 5th match of the Australia Cup. '21, Oakley Cannons, semi-finalists last year. And of course, Joe Guest was a star from the Oakley Cannons, the Mike Cockerell medalist. And who will they meet? They're going to meet, wow, Melbourne City.
Ooh, that's a big one.
That's great. Oakley Cannon's powerhouse, right? Joe Gessie was phenomenal in the Australia Cup, last year, and coming up against Melbourne City as well. You know, and the tough season in the end that they've had.
Yeah, well, 2022 Vic NPL champions in Oakley Cannons up against the premiers of the A-League. That's a huge Melbourne derby.
And not all the NPL 1 teams that are qualified for the main draw, the round of 32, are actually going that well in their league status at the moment. Sydney United are struggling, Melbourne Knights are struggling, Oakley Cannons are in the top 3, and the top 3 in Victoria have kicked away from the rest of the comp. So that speaks to their quality at the moment. It's going to be a really, really good game.
Bring it on, Melbourne derby. Over to you. Sydney FC, who won the FFA Cup, now Australia Cup, in 2017. So who will Sydney FC meet? Upside down, hurry up, Central Coast Mariners. That's a great clash as well. So an all A-League men's clash there, Sydney FC v the Central Coast Mariners. The champions.
And 2 A-League teams to drop out at the round of 32.
Yeah, huge.
So far.
Yep.
Maybe more.
Melbourne Knights, NPL powerhouse, make their 4th appearance in the competition. Who will the Melbourne Knights meet? They will meet the Lions from Queensland, who make their 4th appearance in this competition as well. You mentioned it there, didn't you? Like, Melbourne Knights are such a powerhouse in the NPL, aren't they, Harps? When you have these big teams that traditionally do so well struggling in the NPL during their season as well.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting how they, enter August for the round of 32.
Look, back in the old days, if I can respectfully say it, Melbourne Knights were always there or thereabouts at the top, along with 2 or 3 other clubs, and we can name them. But over the passing of time, they haven't found such safe passage through NPL competition. The rise of Bentley Greens, Oakley Cannons, Avondale, newer entities in that sense, uber competitive, and this is the chance now for the Knights to reassert themselves on the national stage, where they were so proudly represented by their players and fans all those years ago, and now's another chance for them to do that.
Of course. Final match 8, I should say, for this group. Not the final match of the evening. So, Hellenic from Darwin. That'll be a great night. That'll be a hot night for whoever's making the trip over to Darwin.
Well, it means there's going to be a lot of football in the NT in the next couple of weeks.
There will be too.
The 2 knockout matches for A-League qualifiers, and now Hellenic playing at home.
And Hellenic will host Inter Lions. So Daniel Georgieski is going to Darwin, so watch out. So Inter Lions on debut. Daniel Georgieski scored on their passageway to the round of 32 from New South Wales.
A team based in Concord, for those who are not sure where Inter comes from.
Yeah.
Doing very, very well, working their way up through the leagues as best they can, and this is a big trip. I mean, all the NPL guys who get the chance to jump on a plane and go and play in Darwin, to a person, they've always reported how much fun it is, and this is going to be Inter's chance to enjoy that.
Imagine Daniel Georgieski, is he going, wow, this is a huge trip, I've got to get on a plane? Well, you do so much travel as a professional player, right, Michael? You're thinking the FA Cup comes around, you're going over to the Northern Territory, but it's a big clash. What's standing out for you, Grace, when you're looking at some of the big clashes? These are our first 8 matches that have drawn out. We've got another 8 yet to come.
Yeah, well, I think Harps mentioned there's a couple of fixtures there that will see 2 A-League teams drop out early, but one that's caught my eye is Broadmeadow up against Sydney United 58, for the reason that Sydney United had such a fantastic run deep into the Cup last year, and Broadmeadow, they're a class side, they're a quality team, and I agree with you, Harps. I think there'll be a lot of Sydney United fans going up the highway to get to that game.
Yeah, and I'd love to make a different observation from Grace, but I just can't. That's the one out of the first 8 matches, Magic v United at Magic Park. It's a great little venue. It's going to be packed, I think. It'll be a fantastic night. I'm really looking forward to it.
Bring it on. All right, next 8 clashes. Let's go. Goulburn Valley Suns What a story around this side as well on debut.
Yeah, the lowest ranked team in the draw.
Yes, NPL 3,
Yeah.
Shepparton side,
Yep.
home of the Quoll brothers.
Yep.
Great to see them make their
So
debut.
they've done something right.
Yeah.
Apart from qualifying for the round of 32.
Absolutely. So, who did they host? That's going to be a big night in Shepparton.
Few bigger, Tara.
Yeah,
Fair to say, few
I
bigger.
bet. So Goulburn Valley Suns make their debut and they will host Apia Leichhardt, who
Wow.
sit top. They sit top right of the NPL New South
Yes,
Wales
they are.
table
They
right
are
now.
top.
They're at the top of
They
the
are
table.
top.
Yeah, that's huge.
Big night.
Have had their own big nights in the Cup. They knocked out Melbourne Victory, remember, at Leichhardt Oval.
That's right.
Famously, 3 or 4 years ago.
2018,
Fantastic
yeah.
night that was for them. I'm not sure Melbourne Victory remember it terribly fondly. But Apia just, they keep on keeping on.
they're
It's a
fine.
remarkably resilient football club.
Moreton Bay United. They make their second appearance from Queensland and they will be hosting Heidelberg. Well, they're the specialists, aren't they? Heidelberg United.
Great
I
history.
love this competition.
Great history, and Moreton Bay, who are sitting third in the Queensland NPL again. I mean, this is
Yeah.
not a name a lot of people in Australian football have been familiar with.
Yes.
Moreton Bay have the distinction of denying the round of 32 of the potential of a Gold Coast derby. They knocked Gold Coast United out to qualify 2-1, and we're now waiting to see where the top team in Queensland at the moment, Gold Coast Knights, sit.
Yeah.
But what about a Gold Coast derby, which might have been had it not been for Moreton Bay, who now enjoy their own place.
That's great. I looked at 7 different monitors, just if you're playing along at home, because I couldn't see whether that was a 4 or a 0.
It's like a mirror maze in here. isn't it?
And all I could see was myself, and it was scary. Metro Stars from South Australia. You'd know the Metro Stars, wouldn't you? They make their 4th appearance. And they will host
Inglewood.
Inglewood United from WA. Bobby Depsotowski's former side in Inglewood, they're making their debut.
Yeah, struggling in the West Australian League at the moment, but the origins of the club are based around Ukraine and Kiev, which is obviously, for unfortunate reasons, very topical at the moment.
Yeah.
Gave birth to Socceroo Nikita Rukovic's career, and by my reckoning, I'm not quite sure how this has worked, but they've got 3 players eligible for Italy. Congolese, Bulgarian, Chilean, South Sudanese, 2 Englishmen, 2 Brazilians, a Thai, a US, Cyprus, and 4 Aussies that make up their current squad. I mean, talk about the League of Nations. Brilliant. Brilliant. I mean, does that club, in qualifying for the round of 32,
Wow,
not signify
wow.
something special
That's
about
amazing.
football
Very
in
much so.
Australia?
That's incredible. For our 12th matchup. Northcote City, Victorian NPL 2 side, who make their 2nd appearance. And they host your old boys and the Reds.
Yeah.
No one's won it more. That's a ginormous night for North Coast City. NPL 2 side just hosting the most winningest side ever in the Reds, and regardless of where they enter this competition, we know that they've got class players. What have you made of the Reds and their run through to the finals in the recent A-League men's season?
Oh, it looked like they was going for fun.
Yeah.
Like really exciting to watch. Good talent coming through as well. So yeah, it was exciting to watch.
Some good nights at Cooper Stadium. That's an awesome place to go and watch
Unreal.
football.
I mean, Northcote coming out of NPL 2 in Victoria, up against the might of Adelaide. And if anything goes for Northcote City, is that Adelaide have slipped at this level a couple of times famously already. It's not a lot to hang on to, but it's something. Because Adelaide, under Carl Viet, with their array of young players, incredibly exciting. And Nestor Irankunda back after a team failure at the Joeys, but he was banging in some goals there. What about that one against the Saudis, I think it was.
Incredible, wasn't it?
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
What a star. So Perth Glory or Macarthur FC. They'll play each other in Darwin on Monday, the 17th of July. Campbelltown City, South Australian side, make their second appearance. So Campbelltown City will host either Perth or Macarthur.
And going well in the SANPL, Campbelltown City, along with Metro Stars, the two best teams. So they can certainly back themselves in from there.
I thought you were saying that Michael was doing well. You are doing well as well. Mount Druitt Rangers, their third appearance, New South Wales side. So who will they host? They will host GG.
Grace.
A road trip for the boys. This is
Another road trip for you.
a really special one for them. Second appearance in the Cup. They've got a couple of good players back in the side this year. Kaz Patafta, involved in the Socceroos many years ago, but he's been integral to their success this year. So Dean Ugrinich has a really good side on his hands.
And Canberra, Croatia can lay claim to two of Australia's greatest ever football products in Ned Zelic and Josip Simanic. Of course, Josip built his international career for the country of his heritage, Croatia. Two enormous players of unbelievable quality. And then coaching, you've got Ante Juric, who's a Canberra, Croatia graduate, now flying with the women's football with Sydney FC. And then the other side of the equation, we've got Mount Druitt Rangers, which is a freakish amalgam in its genesis between two Scotsmen, a Celtic Rangers fan and a Glasgow Celtic fan, and they formed this club and they split their allegiances and the badging, etc. Okay, we'll call it the Rangers, but we're playing in the green of Celtic.
That's right.
With some dashes of green and gold for Australia. Football can do anything. If it can marry a Rangers and Celtic fan, Mount Druitt Rangers have proved it.
That's an awesome story. That's great. So there's two clashes left, team. Yeah, the Western Sydney Wanderers. So who will the Wanderers perhaps host? Perhaps travel to see, travel to play? Laureate will make their fourth appearance. So the Wanderers are going to WA. It's a big trip for them. Floreat Athena make their fourth appearance in this competition. And they'll host the Western Sydney Wanderers. And for our final match, Gold Coast Knights. We're doing really well, as you mentioned, Harps, in Queensland's NPL competition. And who will they host? The last one I haven't, through process of elimination. I've just scribbled, but I haven't. Oh, of course it is. Devonport.
So the Strikers badge returns to Queensland, but under the guise of a Tasmanian club. We'll set the sleuths off on that one to find the marriage between the Brisbane Strikers, if there was one, and Devonport City Strikers, who were desperately hoping for another home game and to welcome Australia to Valley Road, but they get to play the Knights and Scotty McDonald, and this has become a really formidable club in recent years, the Gold Coast Knights.
Well, here is a recap of what is heading your way. This is the round of 32 in the 2023 Australia Cup. As you can see there, Penn Power v the Knicks, the Edgeworth Eagles v Western United. That's going to be a huge clash in Newey. Put an asterisk already next to Broadmeadow Magic and Sydney United, who
We'll be there.
It was an epic cup run. They were runners-up last year. It was huge. Jets all victory against Brisbane Roar in all A-Leagues clash. The Cannons v City, Sydney v the Mariners, the Knights v Lions, and Hellenic v Inter Lions. And then further down, it is, of course, the Goulburn Valley Suns who make their debut. And what a way to make their debut, by hosting really the powerhouse who sit top of the New South Wales NPL table in Apia Leichhardt. Moreton Bay United, who make their second cup appearance, against Heidelberg, who make their fifth appearance. They are the specialists when it comes to this cup competition. Got the Metro Stars from South Australia, the Inglewood, Northcote City v the Reds, of course, have won it 3 times. Campbelltown City v Glory or Macarthur, that of course to be decided 18th and 19th of July over in Darwin. Mount Druitt, who are flying v Canberra. Floreat Athena from WA. Got a long trip to make for the Western Sydney Wanderers and the Gold Coast Knights v Devonport City Strikers. We've just got our final 8 clashes there, team. What are you circling or putting an asterisk next to in that final 8 there?
Well, for obvious reasons, really excited to see the Canberra-Croatia fixture. But I think there's a lot of intrigue about whether it's Glory or Macarthur and how they go against NPL side Campbelltown City. Perth, we know Ruben Zadkovic has left the role, and of course Macarthur, after winning the Cup last year, had a really torrid A-League. So how they respond against an NPL side in Campbelltown City, I think that's going to be a really fascinating fixture.
Yeah, I like the look of the Canberra game as well, because I'm fascinated by this Mount Druitt Rangers story and how it's developed. But I'm going to have a really close eye on Gold Coast and Devonport, because I think Gold Coast, depending on the vagaries of the draw, of course, but I think they can actually make a serious dent in the Cup this year, and it's going to start against Devonport if they're good enough to beat them at home. They should be, with the travelling Devonport looking to inflict their own wounds on the Knights. But I think Gold Coast can be a serious one to watch, and I'll be having a close eye on match 16, Gold Coast Knights versus the Devonport Strikers.
Bring it on. So that is all of your matches heading away across the round of 32. Michael, thank you so much for your assistance and drawing the balls for us this evening. It's been great to see you again, and great to hear that you're doing so well and enjoying South Australia as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your company this evening. Here's a reminder of all the football that is going to be heading your way. We've got these 2 Cup playoffs. It is Victory v the Jets on Monday, July 17th, live on 10 Play, 7:25pm. You can catch that one. And then it's the other 2 A-League clubs that are in action in Glory and Macarthur. That on Tuesday, July 18th at 7:25 live on 10 Play. The Matildas are heading away. It is their send-off game. This is a huge one. We'll be live for all of the action across Network 10, Paramount Plus. It's v France. What a game. We'll know the squad by then, and it's a huge time for football in this country. Bring it on. Harps and Grace, thank you so much for your company this evening.
Pleasure.
Bring on the Australia Cup.
Indeed.
Let's go.
Can't wait.
Really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining us at home. Good luck if you're in the draw. We'll see you in action in a month's time. See you soon.